Despite having traveled to Europe a few times in the past, Nfudu had never been to Paris. She hoped the city would offer her everything she dreamed of. Her parents were happy she was pursuing her dreams, but wanted her to maintain a certain status quo. This her father made very clear when she took his medication to his room during one of the last nights she spent at home.
"I make one request of you,"
Chief Ibe began in a harsh tone. "What, Papa?" With a straight face, he said matter-of-factly,
"The only thing I ask is that you don't bring home a white man. There will be many suitors waiting for you when you return. Just focus on your studies and remember that there is a time for everything."
Nfudu wanted to crawl under the bed and hide from the embarrassment. "Papa, please stop," she said. "Please, I'm going to Paris to study, not to chase after men." She hissed under her breath and looked in the direction of the door as she planned her escape. When she stood up to leave, she heard him say,
"Where do you think you're going?"
"Nowhere." She continued to look at the door and let her father's scolding fall on deaf ears.
"I'm just warning you ahead of time because Okudu's daughter returned after 6 years in America with a white man and a baby. It was such a disappointment for all the young men that were waiting for her hand in marriage, and an even bigger disappointment for her parents."
Nfudu was stunned by his words, but knew not to respond when her father got self-righteous, as it had never gotten her anywhere. In fact, it could get her a slap, and had in the past. She became tight-lipped and provided the best answers she could to ensure she left his presence in one piece. She hated these conversations about men and suitors, especially with her father, who seemed to bring it up any chance he got. She was 20, and even though she had a little bit of experience with men, she did not want to discuss the topic at this level of intimacy with her parents, who she felt would not understand where she was coming from. Nfudu had never gone the whole way with a man. The most she knew about intimate male-female relations were from the stories she heard from her friends, who hadn't had any intimate relations themselves, and from that horrible nanny that got fired 7 years ago. The closest contact she had ever had with a member of the opposite sex were the kisses she stole from Amadi behind the cherry bushes in her father's compound, whenever she pretended to accompany him to his car to give him a message for his sister in Gorzi. Amadi was only 2 years her senior, but seemed so knowledgeable about such matters, which made her accord him a certain level of respect. A few weeks before she was scheduled to leave for Paris, Nfudu visited Ngorzi in her family home when Amadi was around. She always craved his company. When Ngorzi left for the kitchen to cook with her older sister Edith, Nfudu was left alone in the small living room with Amadi. They kissed and caressed. "We can't afford to let your parents see us," Nfudu said. "Don't worry. They traveled to Lome and won't be back until tomorrow." "Okay. But Edith might see us." "Don't worry about that. Let's go to my room for a moment. There's something I'd like to show you," he said, looking at Nfudu rather seductively. "What?" "It's a surprise. You'll like it, I promise." "We have to hurry so I can join Ngo and Edith in the kitchen." Nfudu did not believe Amadi had any valuable surprise for her. Besides, she was concerned about what Edith would think of her if she was seen anywhere in the vicinity of his room. Still, she didn't know if it was her curiosity or her new quest for adventure, brought on by her move to Paris, that made her go against her better judgment. Amadi took her hand, walked her upstairs to his bedroom, and immediately shut the door behind them. He then reached into his closet and pulled out a small satin box, which he handed to her. She opened the box right away to reveal a beautiful gold necklace with a round pendant and the letter N inscribed inside the circle. "Wow," she exclaimed. "This is stunning." She looked up at him with her beautiful doe-shaped eyes. Knowing that they had a unique way of always revealing what she was feeling at any moment, she darted her head to the right in characteristic fashion to hide the allure in them. "Yeah, I had it especially made for you." "Thank you." She took the necklace out of the box and handed it to him. "Please help me put it on."